There is a power buried inside you, a force greater than talent, louder than circumstance, stronger than any obstacle you will ever face, but it waits. It waits in the quiet, in the unseen, in the untouched corners of your mind. You have felt it before, haven't you? That flicker, that whisper, that undeniable knowing deep within you that you were made for something more. And yet, the world trains you to doubt it, to shrink, to settle, to trade that inner fire for acceptance, for convenience, for survival. But you were not born to survive. You were born to create, to expand, to become. Look around you. Everything you see, every invention, every building, every breakthrough began the same way, as a single thought, a thought unseen, unproven, unbelievable to the world, until someone dared to believe in it. Henry Ford saw a world where every man could own an automobile when others laughed at the impossibility. Edison imagined light filling every home, when darkness was all the world had ever known. Disney dreamed of worlds so impossible, people mocked him for believing they could be real, but they thought it, they believed it. And through their belief, they became it. Understand this, your mind is the birthplace of every reality you will ever live. If you think small, you live small. If you think defeated, you live defeated. If you think average, you build a life that honors mediocrity. But if you dare to think beyond what they say is possible, if you dare to believe before the world sees it, if you dare to hold the vision when everyone else calls you foolish, you step into the rarest space of all, the space where the impossible is forged into the inevitable. You see, it's not enough to dream. It's not enough to wish. The dream means nothing if you don't have the courage to believe it when it isn't real yet. Most people never fail because of their dreams. They fail because they abandon them. They kill them in the silence of doubt. They bury them beneath the noise of fear, because belief requires risk. It demands commitment. It costs you your excuses, your distractions, your loyalty to what is comfortable. And this is why the majority settle, because belief is uncomfortable. It's lonely. It's relentless. It asks you to stand in front of a world that says you can't, and declare, I will. But here is the truth they never taught you. The world you see today was built by the unreasonable, by those who refused to bow to what was because they were consumed by what could be. And that same spirit lives in you, right now, right here. But you must awaken it. How? You begin by guarding your mind like the fortress it is. Your thoughts are not casual. They are the architects of your future. Feed your mind weakness, and you will live weak. Feed your mind fear, and you will walk in fear. Feed your mind possibility, and you will create what others said could never exist. You must become ruthless with what you allow to grow in the soil of your mind, because everything you plant will grow. Every limitation you accept, every doubt you water, every fear you repeat will take root and shape your reality. But the same is true for greatness, for confidence, for discipline, for vision, for courage. These are not gifts. They are habits of thought. They are choices. Choices you must make daily in the silence when no one is watching. You don't wait for confidence. You decide to build it. You don't wait for clarity. You create it through reflection and action. You don't wait for belief to magically appear. You forge it moment by feeding your mind the truth that you are capable of far more than you have dared to imagine. But it does not stop with belief. Belief is the seed. Action is the water. You must move. You must build. You must fail forward. You must get in the arena with blood on your knuckles and fire in your heart, because belief without action is fantasy, and action without belief is blind motion. It takes both to create. Think it, believe it, and then step into the becoming. The becoming is not one moment. It is thousands of unseen moments. It is the early mornings, the lonely nights, the silent sacrifices, the battles with your own doubt. It is the willingness to look foolish, to fail publicly, to stand alone, so that one day the world can stand in awe of what you refuse to quit on. You see, the world remembers the outcome, but the great ones remember the process. They remember the long seasons when nothing made sense, when the dream felt like a lie, when giving up would have been easier. But they didn't, because they knew something the world had forgotten, that all great things are first ridiculed, then resisted, and finally admired. What stage are you in right now? Are you being laughed at? Good. You're on the right path. Are you being resisted? Good. You're closer than you think. Are you being questioned, doubted, misunderstood? Good. You are walking the path of the rare. But remember that becoming is not a destination. It is a way of living, a way of thinking, a way of believing when others stop, a way of moving when others freeze, a way of standing when others fall. This is the path of the Creator, the path of the leader, the path of the unstoppable. So I ask you now, what are you thinking? What are you believing? And more importantly, what are you becoming? Because what you become is not written in the stars. It is not stamped on your birth certificate. It is not assigned by your past. It is sculpted by what you do when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when no one believes but you. Every master you admire once stood where you stand now, a mind full of questions, a heart full of doubt, a future no one else could see, but they saw it and they believed anyway. Wright brothers, when the world said man wasn't born to fly, they built wings from wood and wire, and they became the defiance of gravity, Martin Luther King Jr., when a divided world screamed, "It's impossible." He stood on the steps of history and became the echo of freedom. Oprah Winfrey, from the ashes of rejection, poverty, and pain, she became the voice of hope for millions. What separates them from you? Nothing, nothing but decision. You have the same breath in your lungs, the same seconds on the clock, the same blank canvas called today. And that is all you need, because it is not the conditions that create the great. It is their commitment to rise above them. You were not born for small living. You were not born to repeat yesterday's fears. You were born to expand until the life you imagine becomes the life you live. But hear me clearly. Expansion does not come by accident. It is forced by decision, by waking up and declaring, I will not live on repeat. I will not surrender to yesterday's identity. I will become. And becoming requires that you release the old. You cannot build the future while clinging to who you used to be. You must let go of the comfort. Let go of the stories that say, I'm not ready, I'm not enough, it's too late. Because those stories are chains, chains disguised as truth, chains you have the power to break. And when you break them, you unlock the next version of yourself. But unlocking requires faith. Not blind faith in luck, but bold faith in your capacity to build. Because here's the secret the world hides from you. You are always building. Every word you speak, every habit you repeat, every thought you entertain, you are building something. The question is, what? Are you building fear, or are you building faith? Are you building limitation, or are you building expansion? Are you building excuses, or are you building execution? You hold the blueprint, you hold the hammer, you hold the choice. The great lie is that you need permission. You don't. You never have. The only permission you need is your own. Permission to dream, permission to start, permission to stumble, permission to rise again, because you will fall. That is not a question. The question is, will you rise? Will you rise when the voices say, stay down? Will you rise when failure whispers, not you? Will you rise when life hits harder than you expected? Because the truth is, you don't find resilience, you forge it. In the fire of resistance, in the discomfort of discipline, in the storms that were designed to break you, but only ever built you. The mountain does not shrink to meet you. You rise to meet the mountain, and with every step you take, you become stronger. Not because the path gets easier, but because you get better. You think clearer. You believe deeper. You move bolder. This is the game the average will never play, the game of relentless expansion. And it starts with one rule. You must think it before you see it, because if you cannot see it in your mind, you will never hold it in your hand, so dare to see it now. Close your eyes and feel it, not someday, today. The life you crave, the impact you desire, the legacy you dream of leaving behind. It starts right now with this breath, with this belief, with this decision. And here's the miracle. When you truly believe, the world begins to bend. Opportunities reveal themselves. Connections align. Resources appear, not by magic, but by movement. Because belief is not passive. It pulls you forward. It demands that you move before the world gives you permission. And as you move, you enter the rarest territory of all, a place where your thoughts create your reality, because you dared to think it. You dared to believe it, and you refused to stop until you became it.